Greetings and salutations, my fellow Illumineers. It is me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another stream. We have another high-profile contest for you guys. It's going to be another fantastic spectacle in the building today. We have two very popular players you've come to know and recognize in Lorcana, two faces of the community. We have Lorcana Bro versus Speci, the Specimen, Curly Joe. You guys know who he is. Very beautiful, very handsome, very British out here playing these really cool spicy decks. But I am not alone. In the building with me today, I have none other than Rudrose. Mr. Rudrose. How you feeling this morning? How are you afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world? How are you feeling?
It actually just crossed noon, so it is. Yeah, well, it's technically correct to wish me both good morning and good afternoon, Mr. JDZ. It is a pleasure to be here with you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Let me push my glasses back and correct myself. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Rudrose, and I'm very excited for this match. They call it the Battle of the Subs, but I think both of these players are talented enough to have made it to the starting lineups. But these lineups were stacked, but still we're able to be provided with some high quality Lorcana action, and I'm absolutely excited for it. So really quickly, I just wanted to kind of showcase these decks and talk about these decks really briefly while the players are still setting up, getting everything ready to go. So first deck we're going to talk about is going to be Lorcana Bro's deck. He's out here with the Steel Song strategy. I think this is one of the very best decks in Lorcana. If not for the red, blue, the ruby, sapphire strategy, I think this would be a tier 0 type deck. I think it's super strong, but he's playing it in a very retro variety. Okay, this is a classic, a throw to the past, a nod to the past, if you will. Got those Naveen's in there. You got the two Cinderellas. You have the Lilos are going to be the only set 6 cards. What do you think about this deck? What do you think about Steel Song? And what do you think about the Lorcana Bro?
Oh, I like it a lot. This, as you said, if it weren't for blue-red, this deck absolutely has tier 0 games where there's just nothing you can do. Legit, it does not matter what you do. It will remove every single character you put on the board, and it's so efficient. And yeah, I kind of appreciate that, like you said, retro style of this. I love the Shift Robin Hood. I love the Shift Cinderella. Some people think those are maybe a little outdated now, but I still like seeing them. So I expect this deck to go off as it usually does.
And it's so unfair sometimes because this Steel Song deck, as you know, sometimes they'll have like 4 ink, but they'll make a turn and they'll play like 9 ink worth of cards as with all the singing and stuff. I think that's a bit unfair, but still, I think the deck is incredibly consistent and it's incredibly broken. But check out what Speci elected to bring to this tournament today. Speci dug deep into the Spice Bowl and pulled out this monstrosity, is what I'm going to call it. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm hoping it works. I'm USA all the way. I've been USA through and through throughout this tournament, but Speci's cooking something here, and I'm hoping that it works. It's basically a burn deck. He took the Ruby Sapphire burn idea and kind of pushed it to the next level with this deck. You got the 12 1-drops. You got the LeFou. You can do a little bit of quest challenge situation there. You got the Madam Mim in the deck. I think this card is absolutely atrocious, but he got it in the deck, and it could work in a strategy like this. It could work, as you can play those cards on play. You can continue to pay that cost. You can continue to discard cards and kind of close the game out with the 4 Red Roses and the Bruno as well. He's got the Bruno, and he can also cheat with this Ursula's Cauldron and this Sorcerer's Hat. What do you think about this deck? Do you think Speci has a chance, and can this possibly work in Disney Lorcana?
Realistically against Steel Song, no. But is this list absolutely cracked? Yeah, of course. He's got the secret tech. All of his cards are completely immune to his opponent's World's Greatest Criminal Mind. He has no characters with 5 strength or more, so he doesn't have to fear that. I do kind of wish a card like Chromicon was in here, as it can feed a card like the Madam Mim. You could just keep drawing cards and then discard to it. But do I want to see it go off? Yes. Who doesn't want to see the Sorcerer's Hat, the Ursula's Cauldron, the Bruno Madrigal, and just this massive... And he has Fan the Flames as well as LeFou, all these things to ready characters and then use their effects a second time. So is it going to get bodied by Steel Song? Yeah, probably. But do I want to see it go off? Oh, 100%.
I mean, anything can happen, okay? In Disney Lorcana, the only thing you know about Disney Lorcana is that whatever you think is going to happen is not going to happen. It's going to go the opposite way some of the time, not all the time. And I think he has all the tools. Every card in the deck can gain a lore, so if you can just make it through enough turns, you can then you can just kind of continue to just burn your opponent out. This is definitely a straight up burn deck, and I think it could be good enough. I'm not sure if it's good enough. We're going to find out. I'm excited to see it, and I'm glad that he elected to bring something spicy to this tournament. As we watch his streams, you know he's always playing these spicy strategies. So we're here for it. I'm just going to get the rest of the backside set up, and then we should be ready to start here very, very soon. I think the players are ready. So just give
Players
me.
are ready. They're just waiting for us.
All right. So give me 1 second, and then I should be ready to go. If you just
Yeah, you tell me when to tell them, and I'll write it
Okay.
in there.
Okay. Let me just pop this. Who do you think is going to win, though? Let's talk about that. Who
I
do you?
hope Speci wins just because the deck is so silly. But I mean, if I was a betting man, if you're saying, hey man, you got to bet money on this game, then I can't go against a Seal song against a list like this.
You just can't do it.
I want to be wrong. Yeah.
What about
my practicality overrides my sentimental judgment?
what about just a straight up path to victory type situation? Do you think there is a way? What needs to happen for Speci to make this happen? Because like I said, I'm USA all the way. Okay, I'm North America all the way. But I gotta be Team Speci on this. So I'm rooting for the Spice. What needs to happen for Speci to make this thing a reality?
He needs to see all of his instant lore cards. So Merlin Goat, Goofy, Thievery, Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom, Bosses on a roll. He can get to 20 lore without ever even questing with a character, as long as he sees these consistent lore generators. Also has the White Rose. So he absolutely has a chance, because instant lore is instant lore. And if your opponent's slowly having a quest and you're just going instant, you can win the game that way. It would help if the Steel Song player bricks a little. Sometimes that deck does tend to kind of just brick itself. So I would say those are his paths to victory. If he can keep an Yzma alive too and keep drawing cards off of that, I think that could also benefit him greatly.
All right, my fellow Illumineers. You heard it here. It's time to go. I believe we are ready. We got Speci, who's going to be on the right on your screen, and on the left, we have the Lorcana Bro. We got Amber Steel versus Ruby Amethyst Burn, and it looks like Speci's going to be able to play. He's already all halfway there. Getting to go first is going to be critically important. So that's a step in the right direction. If he's ever going to win, going first is going to carry a lot of water in that situation, as we're going to be on the approach. It looks like we have the Gathering Wisdom, we have the White Rose, we have, what else we got here? It looks like we're getting a mulligan. The altar phase is going down, and we keep LeFou, Fire the Flame. A lot of LeFou type cards too.
A lot
of LeFou energy out there. LeFou, the world's best sidekick. Triple LeFou action. Maybe that's all getting sent back to the deck, or maybe he's keeping all this. I don't know what the lines are. I don't know what the lines of play. I don't know what the power curves are you're looking for with this strategy. I really don't know how to even start to begin to play a deck like this.
Probably you still want your normal curve out of a 1-drop into a 2-drop, especially something like Magic Broom or Churnabogs. That's just easy card draw. Very early for the Mim. I feel like that's more of a closer. And you might possibly want to find a Bruno or an Yzma as well, if you can set them up on turn 3 or turn 4. It'd have to be turn 4, and then maybe try to get that combo off. Other than that, I kind of agree with you. Maybe you want Sorcerer's Hat and all Ursula's Cauldron too.
For
Those
sure.
two work very well together.
And that's the combo right there, I think. And if you mix that with the Bruno Madrigal, you can kind of tutor your deck or set your deck up for those follow-on plays and gain all that lore. I think that could be really cool. I would like to see that get popped off. I think that can be a victory right there. If you could just get that combo online and set up, I think that could be the play. Well, looking at Lorcana Bro, he's hanging on to these double Aerials, double Pete, double Cindy. Very symmetrical, very balanced hand there. And maybe this is good enough. So this is going to be a disaster. We will see how it goes, as you have no songs to play. So this might not be not be all you think it is.
Well, that's something we mentioned at the start, right? You asked what are some of the ways Speci can get to victory. Again, this Steel Song deck, for whatever reason, tends to quote-unquote brick itself like this. He has very good characters to play out, but he doesn't have any songs. And if he doesn't have songs, then that gives Speci a real chance to get in. Speci, however, also has no characters he can play outside of a turn 2 LeFou, which on its own isn't really nearly as intimidating, as he goes ahead and inks a goat and passes back to Lorcana Bro.
And we will get that big Cindy on the field. So you got a turn 5 shift Cindy line kind of established if you can just make it that far, as you will go ahead and pay 1, put out the first copy of Cinderella. You have no song to sing with it. Your adversary doesn't know that just yet. But still, I think having a having a Cindy on the field and a Cindy in hand, I think that's really cool. And I think once you get that on the field, you can just start dumpstering his whole entire position, and it just falls apart from there. But
absolutely. Currently, that Cinderella is just communicating in sign language because she has nothing to sing. But
oh, she's still tough though. She is still
Yeah.
she is still tough as we get into another cauldron there, it looks like. As you have
Boss is on a roll.
Oh, Boss on the Roll. I'm sorry, not the cauldron. I get those mixed up. Ursula's on both
Yeah,
of those
yeah,
cards.
it's an Ursula card, right?
Yeah,
Purple Ursula card.
I get them. I get them both. I do get them both mixed up. As we're still kicking it right now, it looks like we're gearing up that Bosses on a Roll to go down into the Inkwell. You still don't have any character to put out on turn one, but we will send the Super Goof down to the Inkwell instead, and then set up the Sorcerer's Hat for your turn two play. It looks like.
I hate
Sorcerer's
getting rid of
Hat.
the Super Goof just because it's such a good card to answer some of these early threats, but also he's still 2 turns away from using it. And I think you're about to touch on this. Yeah, for those who don't know, Sorcerer's Hat, you can exert it. I think you may have to pay 1 ink as well. And you essentially guess what the top card of your deck is. And if you're correct, you get to add it to your hand.
That is true. I was looking that card up because it's been a while since I've seen.
I know, right? Yeah,
The
same. This is not the
yeah.
props to Speci for giving me so many cards that I have to be like, wait, hold on, what does this do?
Yeah, Speci is in the bulk bin over there, pulling this deck together, and I want to see it pop off. As we will go ahead and use that land, aka World's Greatest Criminal Mind, as they know what the decks are. You'll get 0 value out of that card, so you went ahead and put it right on down into the Inkwell right away. And then we'll pass it back on over to Speci. As you continue to put characters down, you have the Smee and the Cinderella. You still no songs to sing. Ariel should be able to find you a song in theory, but
Speaking of songs, JDZ, I think we know what Speci's deck wants him to do is he draws his 3rd copy of the Bosses on a Roll. It's just begging to be played. One will go into the Inkwell. Will he cast another one? He will, as the Bosses on a Roll.
I love it, dude. I love it. Dude, Ursula, this is my theory. Okay, Ursula did nothing wrong, and that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Okay, as Bosses on a Roll is on the board with the Sorcerer's Hat, and it looks like you get some combos here as you're able to check the
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say so. What you'll do is you'll look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You can rearrange them between the top and bottom in any order you like. You could send all 5 to the bottom, keep all 5 on top. You can split it up however you wish. You will also gain 1 lore from this. And as you just alluded to, the Sorcerer's Hat combos this with it really well. As you can stack the deck, you know what you're going to draw, so you can accurately predict it with the Sorcerer's Hat.
Look at that combos. The deck's popping off, huh? It's popping off. This
Steel Song doesn't have a chance. It's over.
It's over. He's cooked. It's finished. Okay. It is an absolute wrap. Okay. No, I'm kidding. It's going to be a long game. But if you can continue this, you do have another Boss on the Roll, and this Sorcerer's Hat can set you up for a few turns. But you got to have a good memory. You're not allowed to take notes in this game.
Yes.
So you got to like memorize that and what you're drawing for your draw during your draw step and what the next card is going to be. I would not be good at that, but still, as we'll get into the Rapunzel coming in for Lorcana, bro, and still no song. I think it's time to get that Little Mermaid out there, get the Ariel going, and then maybe you can find a song. Still, their songs really aren't doing much because there's no characters for you to engage with them with.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I don't know if he even needs the songs. Like, if your opponent isn't putting any character or lore pressure on the board, you're probably okay to just, okay, well, I guess I'll just do my own thing then. Like, I'll just quest in front of you. We do find the whole new world, so if we absolutely need to, we can refill our hand. But at the moment, I think you can just start applying this lore pressure and say, okay, well, you answer me. What are you going to do about it?
And there's no world I'm playing this whole new world, I don't think. But there's a possibility where he just wants to do like a little flood storm and just put a ton of characters down, and maybe you can still play this whole new world. I'm not sure, but I just would hate to refill Speci's hand unless he kind of
could come a point for it just because we know the list, right? So he knows Speci doesn't have Be Prepared, so Speci has no way to deal with a wide board. Essentially, Speci has to win before he does. So if you just put out as many characters as you can, refill your hand, put out 15 more, like, he's not going to be able to answer all that. So
very, very true. Very true indeed. No Be Prepared, no anything. So, yeah, so if you lose control of this board, you're kind of you're kind of finished.
Yeah.
As
he's gonna need super goofs to take out those boards.
Oh man. So it's still looking great. We got the Bruno established, so that's a good person to hit with a song. As you can start now, you're full combo. You got this Bosses on a Roll. You got your deck kind of stacked. You got this Bruno set up. Bruno is very slow. You do have to exert him in order to fulfill his effect. But still, if you can get that popping off, you're only at 1 lore. Never mind. Oh, man, this board is just getting wider and wider as we go
If we could find removal here, too, that's going to snipe the Bruno out. Looks like it's a miss, though.
The strength.
Oh, we did find strength. Okay, I couldn't tell under there.
And it's got he also has the Storm Rage on too. So man, oh man.
Yeah, this Bruno is not long for this world as this Ariel is about to sing. I can't imagine. Oh
No,
no, that's right. He can just use the Cinderella to sing it.
yeah, Cindy's gonna just go open up the pipe. She's been there longer, so I think it's more fair that Cindy gets the opportunity to sing the song first. As we're going to blow up that Bruno, and then we get to start questing. It looks like no, we're going to put down the Rapunzel after we ink to get a little bit more. No, never mind, no Rapunzel.
Yeah, because he spent 3 ink for the first Ariel, so he had 1 ink left.
That's right. That's right. As we'll just spam out another Cinderella, and this game is already kind of getting to an out of control type range.
Yeah, and this is with Speci going first. So now, again, your opponent doesn't have removal currently, but oof.
Yeah, we're
gonna put up the Yzma, hope it can survive. But here's an instance too where you can shift the Cinderella next turn, have Ariel sing Whole New World. Cinderella could just challenge the Yzma. Like this is going south pretty quick for Speci. Does use the Sorcerer's Hat, reveals a broom. I'm assuming that's what he called. He should have known it was there from Bosses on a Roll because he does add it to hand.
Yeah. It's looking bad. Okay, but there's always a chance. If you're at like maybe 18 lore right now, maybe okay, we be talking. But being at
you're not wrong.
Being at 1 is just so miserable. That's just 1. I'd rather be at 0 than 1. I'm being completely honest. I'd rather be at 0. Give me 0 instead of 1. But still, we're gonna hang on, and we are going to go ahead and ink shift this Cinderella, and it's just absolute. Oh my goodness. Oh my good. Oh, and we are gonna take your play. We will go ahead and sing the Whole New World, and this might just be scoop territory right here. This might just be scoopage as we got the Earlmeister coming in with the raid. All the Ultra Megatonics out there. Yo, shout out to the Ultra Megatonics. Thank you so much, Earl. I'm such a huge fan of Earl, dude.
Appreciate you, Earl.
Thank you so much, Earl. We really appreciate that.
Oh man, we find it along came Zeus too. So this Yzma, not that the cards would matter at this point anyway, because you have too many in hand. But just in case you thought you were going to keep a character on the board, Ariel says, and then along came Zeus.
Dude,
not yet.
This is so good. No, he's just going to challenge. He already got the ability.
I did it too early. I was premature.
It's okay. It's okay. This is a warm up. Yeah, this is cooked, man. But shout out to the Ultra Megatonics out there. I was watching Earl's stream, and he actually watched the broadcast back of us doing commentary, and he commentated on the commentary, and that was just so cool and so helpful. It was really cool.
That
was so awesome.
Check that out.
Yeah, go check that out. He like commentated on the commentators doing commentary, and he's a good player, and he was able to provide a lot of feedback and information, and I thought it was really great. And we got another raid from Wonderland, dude. My body is a Wonderland. We were getting hooked up this morning. We really appreciate that too. I hung out with Wonderland yesterday as well. Awesome, man. I love this community so much. There's some really, really cool players out there and people. And the boss is on a roll with the I love the proxy. And this game is absolutely cooked, man. But Speci's not giving up. He's a fighter. Okay.
Yeah, he tried to. I don't know. Obviously, we can't hear what he declared with the Sorcerer's Hat. It clearly was not Bosses on a Roll. Here's this Raya, which is such a cool card. I mean, we pretty much know it's not going to last past this turn, but it's a really neat card that rewards you with all this like readying your characters. And I definitely appreciate the theme of this deck, but we are seeing some of the struggles of it right now.
And I hope that Ravensburg continues to print cards like that too, like cards that just give you an effect for doing a natural game mechanic. They started printing those, I think, in this set, maybe even before, but just putting something in Inkwell, you get something. You know, inking a card, something happens. I think like the mini that takes the location back from the discard. I think those cards are cool, and they just add a little bit of flavor, a little bit of texture to the game. That's really cool.
Lorcana Bro deciding I don't have quite enough cards in hand. Let me go ahead and draw 2 of these removal songs off the top by healing my Smee for 2 with Rapunzel, as now I can sing, and then along came Zeus.
Hurling his thunderbolt. Something like that. We got to.
He's blast that Raya in a trap. She's blast.
I'm dying.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, we gotta make light of this, man. We gotta do something because this is what Steel Song is known for. Okay, there have been a couple Steel Song matches, and the players might brick, or they might not hit their curves, or the deck doesn't function the way that it's intended to. This is a typical Steel Song situation, and it could have happened to anyone. but it happens to be on Speci, and I don't think the matchup is great. I think Speci is playing an experimental concoction in a bad matchup, and it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
He's just trying to burn it down now. I think you're just way too far off as you send in the gathering knowledge and wisdom, and you're going to send in the thievery. You'll lose one, gain one, but you just have no board presence. Boss on a roll, you're gaining another, but I still think it's just absolutely.
Well, and like you said, to the power of Steel Song, even if Speci was playing, what is considered a typical meta standard deck, as he goes ahead and concedes game one here, when Steel Song gets to go off, it kind of doesn't matter, right? You can be playing Amethyst Emerald, you can be playing Red Purple, you can be playing whatever that defines this is a good meta deck. And when Steel Song gets to do what it wants to do, it says, it doesn't matter, right? You don't get to play the game, so goodbye.
I mean, maybe there's some type of steel mirror or something where he could have maybe broken up a singer, maybe slowed him down a little bit. But when that deck is rolling, when it's hitting wheel and it's flooding the board and it's singing songs and it's gaining all this momentum, when that wheel is when that snowball is rolling downhill, you can't stop it. When you're on the track, you're going to get ran over. It doesn't matter what you're playing, and I'm sure you've all been on the opposite side of that. So hopefully Speci can come out this time and really get a good demonstration of what that deck is trying to do, and maybe Lorcana Bro can just brick a little bit. I'm team Speci on this one. I just want to see the deck pop off. I really do.
Yeah, me too. I want to see him take it to game 3. Something else with the Steel Song too is it's just kind of gotten a little faster every set. That used to be one of its quote unquote downsides, was that it, at least for all the removal it could do, it tended to gain lore a little slowly. But with cards like Daisy Duck and the Smee, you have all these 2 lore questers now and the Lawrence it pushes you forward lore wise. So suddenly, I mean, we saw there, it was turn 6 and he was already on lethal.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, he's burning faster than the burn deck could even get the burn set up. So yeah, Speci was only at like 4 or 5, and you're already winning the game. It's not.
I would love to see Ravensburger. I understand why they're probably hesitant to do this, because it would be very unfun if there was an over amount of lore steal. But I would love to see a deck that its whole purpose is it just steals lore from you, like in a sufficient way, right? Like Thievery. Taking a single lore, it doesn't matter when your opponent has 8 on board, right?
Right.
But I would love to see them create like a true control deck of just like, nope, I just siphon and siphon and siphon and siphon. And again, they're probably worried about doing that, because if it was very strong, it could essentially just be unplayable against, because it's like, okay, well, I can't ever even win against this thing. But it'd be a cool concept, at least.
There's a player that goes to my local game store, and he's a big fan of Lyle. Okay, he's a huge Lyle supporter.
Yeah.
And I was playing Blue Steel, and I'm telling you, I gained, this is no lie, throughout all the time we were playing that whole match, I gained 60 to 70 lore in one game, and still lost. Lyle was crushing me. It was so impressive. I was like, dude, come on. But it can have
crazy.
So maybe make a Lyle Pirate Life deck, huh? Green red deck, and just make it a thing. You'll probably lose a lot. Okay, you'll probably be scooping your deck up a lot, but when it pops off, it could be incredibly fun. Just like the Speci deck, when it pops off, if you can get it to pop off, it can be fun. But this is looking very grim. Oh, man.
Speci does have the Cauldron in hand, which is okay, but you really need like Bruno or the Hat or something to kind of get the benefit of the Cauldron of knowing what's coming on top. Whereas Steel Song, again, I probably a better opening than last time. We have Cinderella, Smee, Aerial Line, plus we have Strength of a Raging Fire in hand, just in case Speci puts something out, which he probably won't.
Yeah, I don't think he has any characters he wants to put out, but his hand, he does have 3 uninkable cards, so this might be kind of tough. He might just be a little ink dry here, just trying to make it to a setup as we ink Cindy, play Cindy, and throw it back on over to Speci. So he does have goats in the deck. Let me pull the deck list up again one more time and check it out over here on my side. I should have pulled it up in between games so everyone can see what they're cooking. But yeah, he does have the goats. He doesn't really have any bounce to kind of bring him back. So it's goats, white rose, just for that instant lore gain. And we will set up that Cauldron now, just like you said. So are we gonna go for it?
So Cauldron doesn't cost any ink. We could just exert it. We look at the top card of our deck, our top 2, and I think you get to decide. You put 1 on top and you put 1 on the bottom.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the one you had to guess. I got that mixed up with the Sorcerer's Hat. See?
Oh yeah, that's the Sorcerer's Hat. Yeah, Ursula's Cauldron back in the I almost said Opus, the set 1 and set 2 days, actually found its way into a lot of those control decks, because it would just help you kind of sculpt your hand and see what you were. to, but obviously has fallen out of favor since then as Mr. Smee comes down on turn 2 and Cinderella says, "Yep, you're not going to be putting any characters on the board, so I'm just going to start questing. Feel free to answer at your leisure, sir."
And that Mr. Smee is so much pressure too, especially with that Rapunzel just sitting there ready to heal him. Man, it's gonna be a mess because he can go infinite right now because there's really no one to attest him, no challenge. I don't think you have any cards in your deck that can interact with your opponent's characters at all from Speci's deck.
Yeah.
So this Smee is literally representing the end of the game if you don't, because you got the Rapunzel, you keep healing them, and you got the freaking, oh man, it's just looking really grim. And you got the Lawrence too, just sitting there menacingly. This is looking pretty grim as you send another goat down to the Inkwell, which is a great sign. Those are some characters that can kind of contest this board a little bit, as we'll go ahead and splash the bosses on a roll. Again,
He needs to find a super goof because if the Smee quests, it'll put 2 damage on itself, and then the super goof can finish it off. Could not find it, unfortunately.
oof.
But that would have been one way to at least get it off the board and progress your own lore counter. Bosses on a roll will still give us 1 lore. And I think he shipped all those to the bottom, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, this is already looking like demise. We got another heavy questing character in the Lilo, which is
Leo's another one. Another of those 2 lore like small questers.
Which is the exact opposite of what Speci needs. He needs to play against a slower deck, like a red-blue deck. Maybe you can kind of set up a little bit sooner. But this deck is just way too fast, and he's doing way too much. As you're able to get another Zeus or a Strength of Raging Fire, or he got all the choices.
This time he's got 3 songs to pick from.
What do you pick here?
That really matters because your opponent isn't even putting out characters for you to blast anyway. But
oh man, I guess you take the Storm. I suppose you already have double strength in hand. Take the Storm, maybe you can get some more draw in. I think that's correct. And now this is going to be demise here for our hero, Mr. Speci, as we'll quest for 3. Take a damage from Smee, and then we'll pass on over to Speci, who needs to get something going quick as you get into another goat. Are you going to ink your 3rd goat? Is that a possibility?
You may. I don't think you need that instant lore. That's kind of if you even have a prayer of winning this.
Yeah.
And we know anything he puts down, he's just going to get blasted anyway. But
and where are those 1-drops? He has 12 1-drops. We haven't seen one. Like, what is that all about?
Hasn't hit him once.
I haven't seen a single 1-drop. That sucks. Maybe if there's a world where you can flood the board with early 1-drops that can help you draw cards, maybe that's what the deck's trying to do. But I haven't seen a single 1-drop yet, so that could have been one of the issues that Speci had so far. But this Yzma definitely isn't going to make it, and I'm sure Speci understands that. He's all in on hope. As we'll go ahead and shift 5, bring out Rapunzel to heal.
I love the chunky dice that Lorcana Bro has too. They're so easy to see.
And we will.
He's about to say, "Pull the lever, Kronk." Wrong lever.
Goodbye, Yzma, going finding itself on into the discard. As Michael Perez says, Speci doesn't play Lorcana anymore. I think Speci's big Gwent. I think Speci's huge Gwent right now. I think that's where that's where they are. It is what it is, but this is a good way to get forced right back into some Gwent right here, sitting here and dealing with this. As you're going to continue to fight it out, you got boss on the roll, and you get into the 1-drop. Finally, you will set up the bosses on the roll to the top of the deck, and you're still sitting at 1. I just don't see a path to victory. I think this game is absolutely fried.
We'll get quite a bit of knowledge and wisdom to go to 5, but yeah, we just. I saw an opponent play something like this. It wasn't these colors at locals, and it essentially was a no character deck, and it was just going to get lowered through all these. And like, it's a cool concept. It's just not there. Like, we just don't. It's just not a thing you can do in Lorcana right now. I've yet to see it work.
I think there's a world where, I don't know. Maybe if you don't play Steel Song, okay, that's just not going to happen. And maybe you play against a slower deck, maybe a Blue Steel or a Ruby, one of the blue decks. And maybe if you get a bunch of 1-drops out, I still don't think that can happen. It's not where we are. And
the only way he's getting this is if that Naveen cast Zeus on his own Rapunzel.
Yeah.
Ariel sing Storm on your own Smee, and you just kind of suicide yourself.
And I still think you lose there. I still think you don't. There's no path to victory. It would require Lorcana Bro to just quit Lorcana mid game.
Yes. He falls asleep at the table. We've got a chance.
Unsleeves his deck and says, "You know what? I'm bigger than this. I'm done with this game." It just sells his cards mid match. I think that could be a path to victory. I think if you I don't know. He could, yeah, he could just pass out, like go narcolepsy, and or it just
Yeah.
disconnects or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is brutal. This is brutality.
Yeah. And we just quest out. It's already
Oh
lethal. So
goodness, I'm
that's
man.
game.
Oh, oh my goodness
Ooh. And that was what,
gracious.
turn 5?
Ugh.
Yikes.
I
Turn 5
mean,
or 6?
sometimes it works, and sometimes it don't.
AO.
Sometimes it works, and sometimes it don't, and that just did not come together that time. I mean, I would like to see it again. I need more. I need another rep. Okay, I need more. I want to. We're gonna get Speci in here, and we're gonna talk about the deck. We're gonna get a little history of the deck, and see what that thing was supposed to do, because that was in and out. Okay, that was in and out. I think I need more. I need to see Speci load that thing up on the stream, and let's get some more reps on that, and see what it was supposed to do, because we didn't get a fair assessment on what that strategy was supposed to
Oh,
put
we
together.
got a fair assessment, all right. And the assessment was terrible. That's the kind of deck that when you're practicing with it, or you want to try it out against a friend, you tell them, now don't play anything too strong against me. Don't play any of the meta stuff, because I need a chance here.
I don't think from what I understood, we did speak to Speci briefly before this match started. I don't think he has ever played this deck before. I think
No, I think he said he made it just for this.
Oh man, and you gotta risk it for the biscuit sometimes. You gotta absolutely send it, and send it. He did, and that was just not even cool. But we got Lorcana, we got Speci, and Lorcana Bro is in the building. We're gonna start with Speci first, gentlemen. Again, thank you guys for coming out and demonstrating your abilities, your gamesmanship. I do appreciate that. Speci, first, I got to talk to you. Let's talk about this deck. And let's talk about what happened or what failed to happen in that situation. Matchup was terrible, okay? But the deck, you didn't really hit your curves. You didn't hit any of your 12-1 drops throughout that entire situation. You weren't able to set up the game plan. But briefly, I'll pull the deck up here again on the stream here so people can see it. But can you just talk about what that game plan is supposed to be, and the history and theory behind this deck and what you're trying to do?
Sure. So those are the first 2 games I've ever played with it.
Okay. No testing, no nothing, just vibes only.
It's so basically we're in Disneyland Paris, obviously, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now. And the Lorcana game devs are super awesome. Big shout out to Tim and Fabian, who are on like the German team, but are like part of the game design team. And they were playing this Bruno deck, and it looked like a ton of fun. I love unorthodox decks. And I figured, since it's like sub versus sub, I didn't really want to play something super meta. And I didn't really have anything else which caught my eye quite as much as playing some Bruno Madrigal.
Okay.
You can go like Bruno into Fan the Flames and LeFou and Raya, and you can gain so much lore in a single turn. It is honestly unbelievable. Like, if your Bruno doesn't get answered immediately, it can easily gain like 10 lore in a single turn. So
okay,
kind of cool.
And I personally, as someone who we call it the goo, we call it the spice, I personally appreciate when people take a chance and try to do something different just for the sake of being different. I personally enjoy that, because it adds a little bit of variety. Variety is the spice of life, and seeing cool things. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this time, but thank you for having the courage to at least make an attempt and give it a shot, because a lot of players, they like to put their, it's a lot of ego, a lot of pride in this thing, and people don't want to show a bad face and take these chances. And I think when you don't do that, it kind of makes the game a little bit more stale, a little bit more stagnant. So I do appreciate you giving it a shot, and I would have hoped to have seen that this thing pop off, and maybe, you know what I'm saying, we can see more of it later on.
I think, to be fair, like, it's obviously not going to be the most competitive deck ever, but it's definitely not bad. It's just, this is probably about as bad a matchup as you could have possibly asked for.
100%. Yeah. And we did talk about that in the intro as well. It's like, okay, you can't, your Bruno is never going to live. Your Super Goof's never going to live. Your One Drops barely might live. It's just too much. It's too much removal, and it's too free. And it just seems like a horrible situation for you. But if you could have got against like a blue player, or maybe someone with a little bit of a slower deck, maybe could have got set up, and it could have been interesting to see. So I honestly would like to see a little bit more, if you ever have time to.
I'm definitely going to play it some more. I've got it sleeved up now, so
yeah. Put the Gwent down, okay, and pick the Lorcana back up, and we'll see. But thanks for dedicating the time, man, and coming out and playing. But I want to talk to Lorcana Bro. Okay, Lorcana Bro, what were you thinking when you saw what Speci was cooking and in this matchup? Again, congratulations on your win, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, so it was open deck list, and especially we're actually just talking about this before we hopped in here. I think the open deck list really did a disservice to Speci's deck because I was able to look at it before and basically say like, oh, all I have to do is remove the Yzma or the Bruno, and it dismantles his entire strategy, right? Because you're just trying to refer these cards over and over. So, maybe if I didn't see the deck list and know what he was trying to do, maybe I would have let a Bruno live for a turn or something. So, but the fact that I was able to have that information going into it just really informed my mulligan, and it was just like, okay, all I have to do is keep these two characters off the board, and it's going to be a really easy time for me. So, a bit of a bummer in that sense that the open deck list. But yeah, I mean that was basically it. It's got some really cool combos in it. Like if you ever are able to like Yzma draw 3, discard all of those cards to the Madam Mim, gain the lore, untap already Yzma, do it again. Same with the Bruno. It's got some really cool stuff going for it, and definitely a bummer we didn't get to see it pop off. But yeah, that's kind of when you see the deck list, it for like a combo oriented deck, you know how to kind of dismantle it.
But talking about your deck though, we did get some feedback. I think DeCandia was out there, and he said you finally dropped the flute. About time. And we did mention that your deck is a little bit vintage, a little bit retro. Let's talk about your Steel Song deck. Why did you play it this way, and what do you think about this deck in its place in this current metagame that we find ourselves?
Yeah. So for this particular event, it was a 3-on-3, and we had to represent all 6 ink combinations, and so we had determined that I was going to be on Amber Steel, and so I was expecting we didn't have the pairings, but I was expecting Speci to be on like something like Purple Steel or Amethyst Steel. Someone else would be playing Red Blue, and then there would be Yellow Green as the other color combination. So I basically said, look, there's only a 33% chance that I play against Ruby Sapphire, which this particular configuration will never beat Ruby Sapphire. But I basically said I'm just going to ignore it and lean into the 66% and just try and build a deck that has the best matchup into everything else that isn't Ruby Sapphire, and just completely ignore it. If I get paired against Ruby Sapphire, I'll get smashed 0-2. So that was kind of the idea behind this one, is a gamble, I guess, but a gamble stacked in my favor.
Okay. I like it. I mean, I like the deck. It is still going to be good. And did mention, Rudrose and I were talking before the stream started, that if not for Red Blue, this would be probably by far and away tier 0 type deck, one of the best decks in the entire game. So bringing it probably is going to be a solid choice in with these parameters. And I do appreciate it. Rudrose, you got anything you want to ask? Sorry, I'm hogging all the questions. I do apologize.
Oh, it's okay. I was just letting you cook. Well, and that was something I was going to say to Speci too, that even if you'd been playing a meta deck, when Steel Song is allowed to do what it wants to do, like you can be playing a meta deck and it still is just kind of unstoppable. But it was cool to at least see you try something different. And I hadn't even considered the fact that, yeah, open deck list, how much that must have hurt it, that they knew exactly what you were going to do. And, oh, okay, I can just shut off line 1, 2, and 3. And that completely stops it. I do want to ask you, Speci and Lorcana, bro, you can answer this too. We were talking about it watching this. Would you ever want to see a full, like, lore steel control deck in the game where, thievery is a single lore, which isn't really much, but something that can truly just drain your opponent's lore like consistently and repeatedly? Or do you think that would be like too oppressive? Done them into silence.
Oh, hello.
Well, I don't know. Yeah,
I was muted. I'm so sorry. I was fully answering.
Oh no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think it could work. Like, the important thing with the design space is that the game devs have made it so you can't go to -1 lore. If you could go to negative laws, then I think that style of deck would be a disaster and very anti-fun. But because you can't go below 0, like, I think you could have that style of deck. Like, you definitely need to be careful with it. But like ultimately, if you have like a mega lore steel deck, it could be some kind of mill deck ultimately, right? Like your win condition is that you don't even necessarily need to quest yourself, but you just deck your opponent out and stop them getting to 20. In theory, like mill deck in Lorcana would have that kind of strategy optimally.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like that idea. I would love to see. I'm always a fan of alternate win conditions in games, so that'd be neat to see.
Yeah, I like
me too. But I think Bruno Madrigal, I might be putting back on the.
Nah, so you can't give up. Don't get discouraged, Speci. You got to just finish the drill, man. You're so close, okay? A breakthrough is there. You just got to fine tune it and get it going. But are you I want to see more, so hopefully you continue to play it and maybe you can do a stream
I'm
or something.
definitely going to play it. I got it saved up now, so
I would do it. But hey, thank you guys so much for coming by and playing. We do appreciate the entertainment, and thank you guys for everything you do for the community as well. I'm a big fan of both of you gentlemen, and continue to do great things for Disney Lorcana as we're trying to make this game great.
Pleasure. Thank you guys.
All right.
Nice to be on. Thanks for having us.
For sure.
Congrats again, Lorcana, bro.
Yeah, congrats, mate. Take care, everyone. Cheers now.
All right. And that's for me, man. I wanted Rudrose. I was having a blast, dude. And I feel like we've been shortchanged. We've been shortchanged, dude. I felt like we could have had a better run at it if we'd had a nice longer game. But unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? This is what we got. It still was a great match. I did have a great time with you, and hopefully we can get another opportunity to do this again, Rudrose, because I love your energy and I love your singing ability. But first, do you have where can people find you if they want more Rudrose in their life?
Yeah, so I do have a Twitch channel, which is just Rudrose. I haven't done a whole lot with it yet. I'm hoping to do more in the future. My main stuff is on my YouTube channel, which is Rudrose TCG. I actually just put out deck tech today for essentially an infinite combo loop with Hades and Lilo. So you take that new Hades legend, which is really bad, but you use the Lilo to revive it every turn, so Hades can throw it at your opponents every turn. It's super fun. If you want like a fun meme deck to play, I'd highly recommend check it out. Feel free to like and subscribe to all my stuff on there, and I appreciate you watching.
And I'm really upset with you because literally I asked you, "Is your name Rudrose?" and you said yes. Okay, and
I must not have heard you then. I'm sorry.
I asked Rudrose. I've been calling you Rudrose this whole time. Rudrose.
It's a made-up word. Like I'm not gonna.
Okay. My bad. Rudrose.
You're good, man.
I think Rudrose.
Yeah, Rudrose, but yeah, it's fine. It's a made-up word. I'm never gonna get upset at anyone mispronouncing.
I'm so sorry. But now I know, and I won't get it wrong again. But seriously, thank you so much, and thank you again, Pavel and the staff for setting this up. Thank you, Ellie, for holding it down on the wheels of steel as the judge, and also Phil as well for holding it down, and the players. But also, make sure you guys throw me a follow as well as I'm trying to make my way here on Twitch. If you enjoy the commentary, you might enjoy the Twitch as well, because I do very similar things there. And thank you all for watching. As always, I'm JDZ. I'm on a quest. Until the next time, shout out to all the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace.